There we go. Hey, Amy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? This is very exciting.
Right. I'm doing really well. Thank you. Just, how's your day treating you so far?
My day's going well. Nothing too exciting so far today. I had a good breakfast of eggs and toast.
Okay. That's good. Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. It is really, really awesome to have someone as talented as you. So before we start, I have to give you an epic, super badass welcome here. So if you have seen some of my episodes, you know exactly what I'm about to do right now. If not, let me show you.
Love it.
Pretty epic, I know.
Live for the applause, baby. It's all good.
There we go. Now, starting with the whole interview now, tell me how your passion for acting started.
I fell in love with acting very young, and my kind of way in was through musical theater.
Okay.
I remember the first time I saw a musical that really moved me. I was 8 years old, and I was like, oh, that's it. I want to do that forever. It was just something switched, a switch went off in my brain, and I just never stopped ever since then. I did musicals, so I sing and dance as well.
Yeah.
And then I started doing straight plays in college because I got more interested in, I love musicals and they're super fun, but I also just wanted to expand my horizons a little bit, and kind of explore different mediums of storytelling and basically how to reach people and the power of story is something that transcends our day-to-day, human understanding. It's when it's almost like a spiritual thing. Some of our most powerful spiritual teachers use stories, right?
Yeah.
And stories are kind of what can connect us through time and space and culture. And so it's an incredibly powerful tool.
Yeah.
And I kind of realized, if this can speak to me, I want to speak to other people too, to help people know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
To entertain people who might not have access to the outside world, like sick people who are confined in hospitals or whatever, just bringing a slice of the human experience to people to either entertain or heal or ask a question or challenge people. There's so many reasons why one wants to make art.
Totally.
But for me, those were kind of the biggest reasons. And I was like, if I can inspire people and get people outside of themselves, just like this musical did for me when I was 8 years old, and every other, play, movie, artistic experience I've had since then, it never stopped. Once I had that experience, art just had a way of moving me like nothing else. And music too, it's all of it. But I was kind of hooked from a very young age. And it's really exciting for me at this point in my career to kind of get to be more particular in what projects that I do.
Yeah.
Because we were chatting earlier and you said when you first start, you just have no idea what you do. And it's so true. You're just you just get your hands on anything. You're like, let me do this. Whatever, just let me do it. And that kind of enthusiasm is super fun. But at some point you need to be okay, here's what I stand for. Here's kind of what I want to do. And I've noticed that I've gotten a little more it's weirdly comfortable with myself. And then also just more specific on what kind of things I want to do and what I want to say and who I want to surround myself with and stuff like that. So that's kind of a very long-winded answer to what got me interested in acting, but that's it. It's really deep it's it's love. It's just like the real reason why we do almost anything. It's this really deep, kind of hard to describe passion.
Reach. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's so amazing, you know. And the fact, and the fact, as you just said, that you can provide some type of entertainment or a message or something to people that like that vibe or that thing, that sending a message to people out there. I think that's really inspiring, you know. And the fact that you can do it through acting, and also that you are being this character for this film, and you're discovering that world with the audience as well, and also you are discovering, because it's you at the same time. You're just playing somebody else, but it's you at the same time. So we're basically like all discovering that world together. That's really cool. And as I said, I mean, the fact that you want to send like this message or send like this good vibes to people having like a hard time right now, and especially during this crazy time recently, right? It is really cool. It is really cool, and I think it is really important that we have this type of material in which we can disconnect a little bit from all of this stress and just focus in in a film or stuff like that, you know?
Right, absolutely. And acting is such an interesting medium because it requires so much self-reflection. Like, how am I similar to this character? How am I different from this character? You know, I'm still learning. It's one of those things, because it's not like math where it's like 3 + 3 is 6. You know, it's like you're always learning and feeling out, like, how can I express what this character is going through as authentically as possible for this person, you know, trying to really do justice to everyone as like a real person. And so it's kind of an exploration that I will never like perfect it, you know. And it's something that is very dependent. The way, you know, the process goes is kind of very dependent on what director you're working with. And so now I'm really interested in working with directors where we have a really, you know, solid communication, and there's a lot of trust, and there's a lot of like, you know, my input is valued.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like it's a collaboration, you know, and I can ask questions, and we, you know, we talk on the phone about the character and like, you know, what we want to do with the film as a whole. So, you know, there are times as an actor where you can feel like disconnected from the whole, and I've noticed that I really like to feel included, you know, in and sometimes you can't, but especially with indie film, you know, oftentimes you can get a pretty collaborative experience through independent film. So I haven't done, and I'm working toward it, I haven't done big studio films or big budget TV shows, but I'm very curious how something like that would be in comparison to the independent film work that I've done. You know, I'm very curious.
Love it. So in 2016 you were in Average Joe. You played as Claire. So, I mean, was that like your first film experience, and what are some of the things that you can tell me about your character?
That was one of the first projects that I ever did out here. I don't think it was ever finished. Like, I don't think they ever completed it.
Okay.
Which happens, you know, when you first start, when you're just doing anything, that happens, you know. And I played some kind of like a victim, so I had like, you know, bruised makeup on and stuff like that. And it was fun. I had done some kind of short film before in the Bay Area. I'm from the Silicon Valley, so I'm from California. I'm from Silicon Valley, and I had done a short film there once when I was like 20, and that was like my first one. But I think that was my second or third. You know, that was definitely one of my first film experiences, and it's so fun. It's so amazing. It's really hard in between jobs
Totally.
But when you're actually doing it, especially with people that you trust, it is the best job in the world.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I can agree on that. Wow, how cool is that? And like, how you usually prepare a character?
So I kind of touched on this before. I like to chat with the director if I can, if I have the luxury, and my castmates. You know, I prefer a more natural, kind of organic approach because the camera doesn't lie. So if you're faking or you're not just being a person in a place having an experience, then the camera will know. And because I come from a theater background, I've had to like kind of train the presentation out of myself, you know, because theater can be very presentational, and then film is a very different muscle. So as organic as the experience can possibly be, I want, because I want the camera to capture something real in me that's happening, right? So the more comfortable I am and the more I trust the people around me, the more I feel comfortable going to those really vulnerable places. And then in addition, I like to you know, think about my character from a more cerebral point of view, like what would they wear, what do they eat, what are their goals, what was their childhood like, what did they, you know, where have they failed, where they wish they would have succeeded, like who are they? And so I'll think about that. Sometimes I'll shop, like I'll go shopping as the character and like see what they would buy. But that's all, you know, that's fun and it's important because it also helps you separate yourself from the character, because sometimes as an actor it can be hard to separate, right? Because they feel real. The emotions and like the connections can feel real. So doing some of that cerebral work can help remind me that it's not real. You know, it's like it's real but it's not real. So I'll also go through the script and you know, when I memorize lines and stuff, it's like I'm trying to like I said, not be too prescriptive about it, like, oh, I need to do this at this moment, because I don't want to feel like it's forced. So I'm trying to think about how I can say the line, you know, where it's coming from inside me. It's coming from like inside the character. And it's something, like I said, I'm still working on every day. I was just in a movie, an independent film called You'll Lose a Good Thing this year. And it was my first like bigger role in an indie film, because I played small roles. But it's my first like bigger role. And it was really, really exciting. And I've seen some of the footage and it looks really, really cool. And I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I'm so proud when it's finished. I'm so proud to share it with the world. And that was actually directed by a buddy of mine from high school, which is like so crazy. Like
that's
all
so
these
cool.
years,
Yeah, totally.
You know, all these years later, we're collaborating and doing what we love together, and it's like really just incredible.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. And you know what? It's true that whenever you will watch a film, series, or whatever, you can tell sometimes whenever the actor or the actress is just doing it for the job and that's it, or whenever they're doing it to try to kind of build a connection into at some point that you really care about that character, you know, that you really are involved into the world that they're living in, and you really care for that one. You don't want nothing bad happen to the character. And sometimes we'll have like these characters in which they are like very like cardboard box, you know, like very plastic, like very, that there's no connection at all, and whatever happened to that character, you're like, you know?
Whatever. Yeah, we want to see, in a weird way, it's like we want to see ourselves. We want to see our own pain and fears and wants. Like we want to see that reflected back to us through the screen. And that's why I think acting is like a noble job. And I think a lot of times we're kind of fed the idea that it's not a noble job. For a variety of reasons, I think.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it is like being a kind of a conduit for the human experience, being vulnerable and helping people, like by being a mirror, you know, and it's feedback too. It's like the audience or fans feed us and we feed them. It's like a relationship almost. And it's really cool. Like I had somebody reach out to me a couple days ago just saying like, you know, I really admire your work, and you know, you've really like impacted me through your work, so thank you for doing it. And you know, for somebody like me who's not famous, like everybody knows my name, I'm not like a household name yet, that means a lot, like that the work that I'm doing is making a difference, and that people are seeing it and being moved, and it's helping them in some little tiny way, you know, through entertainment or whatever. So yeah, it's true. And you know, whenever they will create a character, if it is well written and well acted, you will care about that character. And whenever they will have like a sequel, let's say, and they do something to the character that we don't like the audience will be pissed about it. Yeah, definitely.
I've seen like in a lot of like movie series, even in video games too, that whenever they will kill or get rid of they will get rid of the character that everybody loved. With it, it's so interesting and so amazing how people get afflicted on it, you know, because they really care about that character, and to see them and to see them gone, it's tough, you know.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I remember when I saw Game of Thrones, that show really messed with my feelings all the time. I mean,
yeah, that was the first one that came to mind. I was like, that show wrecks people. But
yeah, it really wrecks people. Yeah, totally. But you know, the fact that you're taking care of that, and the fact that you are working on it, and the fact that you're putting, as I said, like too much passion and like very good energy here, it is super amazing. It is really cool that you're doing that. I mean, as you said, you're not famous right now, but at some point, I mean, it's super obvious that you will, of course, that you're gonna be on top of all of those movie franchises we all love and care, you know. And yeah. Now, before we continue, I have to give you a quick epic shout. So. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is totally. You deserve that. So, but anyway, moving on here. So, in 2017, you were in many more projects, such as Goodbye, Myra and Gallimore, 325, Sycamore Lane, Draft Dodger, Life is Horrible, and Into the Dark. Tell me, what are some of the best memories you have from all of these projects?
Well, 325 Sycamore Lane was really fun. It was a horror short that I was really happy with, and I had a lot of fun making it.
Yeah.
And even still today, like recently, someone made like a little fan video about it, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool!"
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just fun to film, like being the scary girl, like in the back of the car when I like. Anyway, it was just really fun to play like a crazy character.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with that, and it's kind of interesting because I feel like in my career so far I haven't been doing this that long. I mean, it feels long to me, but like in some ways it's not that long. From 2016 to 2017, it felt like kind of one chunk of my career. Then 2018, 2019 felt like another chunk, and then 2020 and 2021 has felt like a new chunk. So it's kind of interesting how it's felt that way, and kind of like feels like there's delineation.
Totally.
And I think the biggest thing that kind of started that was I actually started writing and directing in 2018 and 2019. So I changed kind of my whole relationship to acting, and I still do it and I still love it, but it's also, I'm working on my first feature film. I've directed some shorts and written some shorts, but I'm working on my first feature film that I want to direct.
Yeah.
And just having more sense of agency I feel like as actors, so often it feels like, oh, we have to do whatever they say. Like, there's not enough roles, like, you know, and just a lot of scarcity mentality. And so directing felt in a way like kind of taking my power back and being like, wait a minute, okay, I also have a vision and things that I want to say through the medium as well. So that was huge for me, and just made me so happy. And it's actually enhanced my acting. Like, my acting is more inspired, and my acting is more like, I enjoy it more. It's really strange how like directing has so impacted my acting, but it has. And yeah, and there's just a lot of fun. That was kind of a little tangent, but there's a lot of fun moments in those little projects too. But things have grown so much since then, and it's really cool to kind of look back on my career and see like how I've grown. Because sometimes, you know, when you're in it, you're like, I'm not making progress. You know, like it's not going fast enough. I want to be, you know, at like a series regular now, or like I want to be at the top of a franchise now, or whatever, or starring in like Tarantino's next film now. And while I do want these things, I also want the things that I have now. Like, I also want to be working on independent film.
Totally.
I also want to be working on my own projects. I also want to be, you know, working from a place of authenticity, working from a place where I'm attracting people who want to work with me because they want to work with me.
Yeah.
You know, like, not because I'm famous, or because of the way I look, or because of whatever. Well, all those things may or may not be part of it, but that they value my particular artistic input.
Totally.
And that is what I'm cultivating, and that's what I'm, you know, working for more in the future, is just continuing to attract people who I admire artistically and who just genuinely admire me back. And that like reciprocity is it's natural and it's easy, and that's such a wonderful place to create from. And in the quote bigger industry itself, right, instead of just like person to person, which is how I've gotten most of my jobs, is just through like knowing people. It's something that I am curious about, because so much of the medium is based on trust, right?
Yeah.
Like how we trust each other. Like, you know, I know, you know that I'm going to do my job and we can talk about it, and, you know, I know you're going to do your job, and, you know, but that level of trust doesn't just happen overnight. So when I go on all these auditions for big shows, for casting directors, you know, that's, especially for the bigger parts that I've auditioned for, you know, that's a lot of trust. And I would cast me in those parts.
Yeah. But
I can understand why perhaps they're like, we want to see more of you. Like, it's not like we don't, you know, we're calling you in, we're interested in you. We're interested in what you're doing, but we want to see more of you. And so that's why it's really important to me to put myself out there and reach more people, and keep working and keep making my films and keep being in other people's films, and just do my thing, because that's the only way that when I am working at the quote level that I want, that I'm going to be happy, is if it's me just being me. If, you know, if there's any like falsehood or pretension, I'm not going to be having a good time. You know, and that's not like, I wanted to do this career to reach people in a meaningful way. And I can't do that if I'm not being honest. So that's really important to me. And it's like this weird dichotomy where Hollywood feels like it's like fake, or people think it's fake, but then it's like, but how am I supposed to reach you meaningfully if I'm fake? You know, so that doesn't work. Like, that math doesn't add up. So I'm just gonna do this the way I want to, and hopefully it resonates with enough people that I start to get more and more traction every year. So that's kind of what I'm going for.
That's so awesome. I love it. I love that. I love that a lot. Yeah, it is cool. And the fact that you want to build that community, that's awesome. You know, because it is true. I think that that having this project or doing something, but you are surrounded with kind of this fake people and they will just take advantage and everything, you're not going to grow up, you know, you're not going to like to step up. You're going to continue sinking there, because whatever you will try to reach high, they will crawl from that, you know. And at some point they're not gonna, they're not going to help you, or they're just gonna be like like an extra back there that you don't need, you know.
And I think some people, not all successful people, but I think some successful people in Hollywood kind of are surrounded by people like that, and it's kind of impossible to be happy when you got people like that around. Totally. So I'm kind of like, let's not have that. Let's, you know, let's keep it about the art, keep it about the work, and keep it about, you know, goodness and love. And then that's the money right there. I agree on that. Beyond yourself, at the end of the day, it's I can totally understand that, because if you're playing somebody else that is not you, at some point you're gonna hate it, you know. At some point you're gonna be just pissed about it and be like tired, because you are not you. You're just pretending to be something else. And I think that also happens, that whenever you will try to please everyone, you know, that whenever you will start this project, either acting, musician, or whatever, you will be with the mentality that you want to please everyone. Right. But what it ended up, but if you go that way, it's gonna just take you into a very awful way, because at the end of the day, you can't please everybody, and it's not you, you know. It's not like your essence, you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. Totally. And so in 2017, what was your reaction when you saw that you were getting involved in more projects here and there? What's kind of funny is I was like happy, right, that I was doing stuff, but also I was like, I want to be on more projects and bigger projects. And so I, like, for me personally, and I don't know if this is good or bad, it's just, I'm just being honest, there's like a great deal of dissatisfaction with everything, and I've really worked on that. I've really worked on being happy exactly where I am, and being proud of what I'm doing, and being happy with what I have, and it's like made things a lot better for me, you know. But I think it's natural. But on the flip side of that coin, I think it's very natural for artists to feel perpetually dissatisfied in some way, because we're always learning and growing, and we're always like kind of, I don't want to say as good as the last thing we've done, but we're always chasing to improve ourselves. And so some of that dissatisfaction is like healthy and normal, but not sustainable. You know, it's like, it's not something you can feel for like particularly long periods of time, or it starts to eat at your self-esteem, which isn't fun. True. I mean, and I can tell, because in 2018 you were in even more projects, such as The Peppers, Diverted Eden, Growing Up Immigrant, It Followed Me Here, and Starstruck. So tell me about your characters, and what are some of the highlight moments that you had while during the whole production from those projects? Yeah. So things like those projects, maybe because they were more recent, but in general, I remember projects back from 2016, but that was so long ago. I'm like, my memory is fuzzier. But in 2018, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember 2018. That wasn't that long ago. Those projects were all really fun. Like, Peepers was really cool. I loved working with the director, Rachel. It was a great experience. I loved working on Starstruck with some friends, and my character was a really fun, kind of like quirky best friend type Southern girl. And that was really fun. And what other projects did I do that year? Let me tell you. So The Peppers, Diverted Eden, Growing Up Immigrant, It Followed Me Here, and Starstruck. Yeah, so Diverted Eden was one of the first independent films that had like a small part in, but it was like a feature. And that was my first time having like a small part in a feature. Yeah. So that was really fun. And yeah, that was a fun year of projects overall.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. Wow. And then on 2019, you were in Lolo, Blind Date, Interdiction, and then in 2020 and 2021, you were in Cyborgs Universe, VE4, What Brings You In, You Know It Was Me, Mark, Mary, and some other people. I mean, it is so amazing. I mean, you've been involved into so many, like, in so many stuff here and there. But let's start with You Know It Was Me. While I was doing this research, I also discovered a YouTube video in which you kind of, it's like, so you're basically dancing, but you're kind of telling a story without saying anything. It's just the music and just some scenes here and there, which, to be honest, that was really powerful. I mean, without any dialogue and everything, but like the message it sends there, and yeah, it was awesome. I don't know what to say, you know.
I was really, really proud of that project. My friend and amazing director, Gavin Michael Booth, was at the helm of that, and I'd wanted to work with him for a while, and I was just floored to be able to do that. I felt so honored. And I'm really proud of what we put together, and what I kind of got to go through. When I was younger, I used to dance more, and I did ballet. So, and obviously this character was dancer, and she hurt herself. And I also, when I was young, I hurt myself dancing and had a really rare, like, pain disorder that Paula Abdul also has, called RSD.
Okay.
And I had that for a long time when I was very young. And thankfully, I'm healed and don't suffer from it anymore. Because I was able to get really high quality treatment, which was amazing. And I was young enough that my nervous system was able to heal, which was all very fortunate for me. So I felt like very connected to this character right off the bat because of what I had gone through when I was young. So kind of getting to, and I was in a wheelchair too for a while, like the character. So getting to play that was kind of wild. It felt like one of those full circle things, but it was also really fun to work with everyone, and it was just a great experience. Like I felt like I could, it was very collaborative, which was so nice. Like I felt like I had a lot of, say in what was happening too, where, Gavin had like an incredible vision, but he was also open. I mean, he's just great. So that was really cool. And I've gotten a lot of positive, like, feedback from people who've seen it, and they reached out, and that was a really meaningful project for me.
Yeah, totally. And the message of it, I mean, at least at the end of it, I got like this message stuck into my head that you never know, that you can, that if you don't enjoy life, I mean, it just takes 1 second to change everything for you, like 360, that you will, and in that moment, life can take you into your most deep and hard moment ever. So why not enjoying it? Why not making sure that you're doing what you love the most? Why not just focus on what you love? Like, be surrounded with people that you care about, with people who can teach you something. Do whatever you want to do. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we take things for granted. I think that we live in this, and I said before in a couple of interviews too, that we live in this world that we take things for granted, meaning that we are like, if we have to do something, we can be like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, or I will do it next year, or I have all life ahead of me, so I have time of it, and you never know. So why not trying to do your best every day and just do the things that you love, and make sure that every single night when you go to bed, you can be happy, or you can be happy knowing that you completed everything you wanted during that day, like one step at a time.
100%, Rome wasn't built in a day, but
Totally.
you still need to move the blocks, So
Totally.
it's like, just keep going with gratitude and passion, and it's not realistic to be in that space every day. It's just not. Like, there are some times when we're sick and we feel so sick we can't do anything. You know, there are times where we're just not feeling it, and that's just part of it. It's like life is like any relationship. It's like we're in relationship with life. And just like any relationship, you fall in and out of love with it. And that's totally normal. You know, it's only when you start freaking out and being like, I'm gonna be like this forever, that you spin yourself even worse. You know, when it's like you're not feeling so hot, it's like totally okay. It happens, but I'm gonna feel better at some point. So here we are, you know.
That at the end of the day, you don't lose focus of what you want, you know.
Exactly. And that, you know, my boyfriend and I were just really sick with something. We had some kind of like bug. We thought it might be COVID, but then we got tested a bunch and it wasn't COVID. So we were like, what the heck? But we're still like dealing with the end of it. It's been like 6 weeks. So we were out for the count. And I was still working during that time, but it was really hard. And now I'm feeling better, and it's like I'm more excited about things, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of how.
That's so cool.
That's life, you know. Sometimes you feel bad, sometimes you feel good.
Totally. That's so. Yeah. Now I wonder, like, what are some of the things that you like the most about playing a character, and how you usually break character to return to be yourself?
So, what was the first part of the question?
The first question is, what are some of the things that you like the most about playing a character?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot. I love like seeing how far I can go in a direction. Like how, hey, it's fun. It's kind of like driving a car where it's like go 80 miles an hour, go 40 miles an hour, go 20 miles, you know.
Yeah.
So I love kind of like seeing how far I can go. And it's like terrifying too, you know, to really like go with no self-consciousness, just like push yourself and jump and know that you're gonna be okay. So, you know, just like how angry you can be, how crazy it's play and it's experimentation, and or how, you know, sensual or in love or whatever it is that the character's going through, like just kind of seeing how it'll go. Which is like, I love to control things, so for me it's like hard, but that's ironically it's one of the joys for me. It's like, okay, you set the train on the track and you just let it go and see what happens, you know. And it's exhilarating when it goes well. You know, when you
totally
it's exhilarating, and especially when you have a great chemistry with your scene partner. That is, because then honestly they are doing the work for you, really. Like, you know, when you're working with a really great actor across from you, you just like hit the ball, you know, you hit the ping pong ball back to them. That's it.
Totally.
That's really cool when you have great chemistry with an actor you're working with. I love that. Like, and you can really kind of parry and go head to head, and it's really fun. When you just have that natural chemistry and you're like, I want to hang out with you, and like, I like, you know, that's just the best. So that's one of the things. Those are some of my favorite things about playing a character. And when I was younger, I actually used to have a harder time separating myself from characters. I think after I turned 25, it started to get easier for me. And I don't know why. I think it's just experience. Like, I've just been doing it long enough that I'm like, it's getting easier for me to be like, we drop that. And I think also just getting older and being in a relationship where I'm really happy, I'm like, there's more at stake if you get lost in a fantasy world. So I'm like, we just don't need to do that, you know. It's like, I have so much good stuff going on. The last thing I want is to be carrying characters with me into my personal life.
That would be crazy. You would be a mess. It
would be a mess. It happens now and then, you know, where you're like still kind of thinking about the character, you still kind of feel like it, but again, with the idea of like not freaking out about it, just being like, oh, so I feel the character a little today, that's okay, you know. It's gonna go away. It'll go away, and just trusting that what comes up must come down. Totally.
Wow. And I think that it must be I mean, now that you mentioned that, having a scene with somebody, but I think that when the movie is based only on you, I mean, for example, movies like Castaway or I Am Legend, in which it's just you and that's it. I think that those type of movies, it's really tough, right? Because the whole movie depends on you. I mean, it rests on your performance, right?
Kind of like the music video I did.
Exactly.
You're talking about, yeah.
That same one, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. There's in some way there's like a little more freedom, it feels like, because you don't have to worry about lighting two people or like jumping the line, right? Like you don't have to worry about the camera being on the same side of the people and stuff like that. So in some ways you have more freedom as an actor when it's just you. But yeah, it's not that it's not as fun. It's just a little more lonely.
Totally. Yeah. Wow. Now, from all of your different performances, which one has been the deepest learning curve? I mean, the one that you learned the most lessons from.
That's a great question. The one that I've learned the most lessons from, all of them. But I mean, honestly, if I'm being told, I'll pick one for the question. But the truth is all of them, because all of them, I walk away with something either like, I don't want things to be like this, or I do want things to be like this, right? So in that sense, everything sort of guides me to my goals. But learning in terms of like myself and character, and I think it would be the independent film that I was just a part of, You'll Lose a Good Thing. Because that whole experience was just, it's hard to describe making an independent film, because it's such a wild thing, and everyone is so different. How everyone gets made is different, and the people are different, and every film enterprise is like completely different in a weird way. Like we're doing the same thing, but it just feels completely different every time. So that was kind of a wild learning curve in terms of like my, in terms of character, in terms of just being a part of an independent film as like a bigger character, chemistry, all kinds of stuff, and actually like doing it and feeling like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. Yeah. Like I'm doing what I love, and I'm so incredibly happy and grateful. And so in some ways it's like that's learning, but in some ways you learn more from the projects that are a little tougher, because they help like guide you a little more, and be like, you know what, maybe I need to go a little more this way, because like that wasn't exactly what I'm looking for, So most of the projects I've been a part of have been wonderful, and I'm super grateful, and some have been like more fun than others, and that's just like, it's just sort of how the cookie crumbles. But I've been really fortunate to work with some wonderful people along the way, and and learn a lot. So I'm just really grateful for where I am now and where I'm going. And I love my management team who I'm with now, Chris Rowe Management. They're really great, and I'm learning a lot working with them too. So it's like it's a learning experience, all of this. I'm learning every day how to show up as the actor that I've always wanted to be. And as the writer-director, I didn't know I wanted to be a writer-director, but now that I do know, there's that aspect as well for me. But it's like I really do want to do both, and just showing up as the best version of that I can be every day, and just trusting that like it's gonna work out. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep auditioning. I'm gonna keep being part of projects, and eventually it's gonna be awesome. And it already is. It's just the like financial aspect that's still a little bit hard.
There you go. Now, if you could describe your career at the moment in a film or a TV show, well, what would be the title of it?
That's a great question. I'm gonna be honest with like the first thing that popped into my head. It was Almost There, and I'm almost there.
Okay, I like it. Yeah.
It's like, I just feel in a lot of ways like I'm on the precipice of everything that I wanted in the best way, because I'm already doing it, but I'm also like feeling more like, oh my god, I am gonna make a feature film at some, you know, that's really crazy. And I am eventually, all these roles that I'm auditioning for big shows, like I am gonna book one, and just being like super excited a lot is how I feel. So almost there kind of feels like excitement, and that's how I feel a lot. So much so that, like, you know, during the pandemic I was sleeping so much, but now that things are kind of opening up again and we're vaccinated and we have to be careful still, but like it's a little bit less terrifying. Like I can barely sleep at night because I'm so excited. You know, I'm just so excited about tomorrow, and just like having the opportunity to be alive, and like you were saying, go after my dreams, just keep at it, even though I've been doing it for 6 years, just being like, this is a lifelong journey and a lifelong relationship that I have with the craft of storytelling, whether it's through a character that I'm playing, or through a screenplay I'm writing, or through a scene I'm directing. You know, the craft of storytelling, they're all completely different muscles, all three of those things, but I want to do them all. So
there you go. Always there. I like it. Yeah. If at some point you're gonna do like your movie or TV show, you just come back here and then you be like, oh yeah, I got a title now. Yeah. That's cool. Now, tell me, like, what motivates you every day? I mean, you have such an awesome and badass career here. So what drives you to keep working hard every day, to wake up every day and just keep pursuing that? I mean, yeah, like where does this motivation comes from?
We kind of touched on it earlier. It's the potential of changing someone's life.
Totally.
The potential of changing the world. And, you know, making the world a better place.
There you go.
And that, you know, there's some days where you don't feel it and you're like, I don't care about anything, I'm sad, you know, and that's, like I was saying, that happens, and that's okay. It's not realistic every day to be like, I can do all these ABCD goals, check them off. It's like, we're not robots. But there are times where it is like that, and when it is, that's awesome. But when it's not, that's also awesome, because those times where we're kind of cocooning and in our deep emotions and like figuring things out, that's often where we're settling into ourselves and like who we really are and what we want. And and when we're out there, you know, putting ourselves out there, doing the goals every day, that's great too, you know, because it's all just part of being a person. But I really believe that through this medium, I can change the world. Like, I can reach people, and lots of people, hopefully millions of people. And I can inspire people through my work. And I can open hearts and help people see that they're not alone, and also have a really good time with people that I love and trust, you know, who are like-minded, like creative, thoughtful, philosophical people who are really trying to do something interesting with the medium, you know, do something maybe that's never been done before, or in a way that's never been done before. Like, I want to see things that really push us and make us ask a lot of difficult questions, but still entertain, you know, because it's like, and still make us feel. So that's a tricky balance, right? To be like, how can I make something that's really pushing people, but also they still feel held at the same time. And that's something that is a balance that I'm interested in, and I want people to work with me who are interested in that same thing, you know? So I'm also, you know, motivated by like my own fears, I think, in a way.
Okay.
Like, we all have that voice in our head that's like, you know, you can't do this.
Every day.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
You're never gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I'm motivated in a way by those voices and just being like, you know, that's not true. Like, I don't want to listen to you, and I'm not gonna let you run my life because I'm still here. Like, I'm here, and I'm not gonna let fear stop me from my dreams.
Totally.
And so I hope in so doing, I can inspire other people to go after their dreams, to have a difficult conversation with a loved one or a family member, to start exercising, to paint something that they've always wanted to, or whatever it is, like to make a piece of furniture, whatever it is that someone has felt like they've been putting off. I hope that through my work, I can inspire people that you can do it, and today is the day, you know, and that there is hope no matter how dark it may seem. So that, you know, that theme has kind of been in more of my recent work, like the music video, You Knew It Was Me, you know, like that. My script that I'm working on has a lot of that kind of theme in it. And yeah, I'm just motivated to give to others what art has given to me.
Wow. I'm speechless. Yeah, it's true. I mean, what else can I say? Wow. Really cool, man. Yeah, it's really weird. You know, it's super weird that happens to me. That would be like without, yeah, I can say anything else. I mean, you pretty much said everything. I mean, you spoke truth here, and that's, I mean, yeah, you got it all. It is true. It is true.
Yeah, I was so thrilled that you reached out, and I just was like, this guy's got great energy.
No,
I could tell. I was like, great energy.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
I'm wishing you great success and
thank you.
And love and goodness on your journey as well.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what? If I can describe your career, I would say I mean, yeah, your career is badass. Your career is amazing here. I mean, if somebody asked me what can I say about your career, I would say this. Because literally it's amazing here of how awesome things you have done here and there, like how much you are preparing yourself also, that you're not also acting but you're also writing and then directing too, and it also gives you like a total, yeah, like a fresh environment, you know, like a fresh thing, like something new, and you can totally see acting in a different way. And the fact that you're doing that, that's very inspiring. And as you just said, that also that you want to reach for more people, and you want them kind of make them feel good about when they're having like a bad time with your performances here and there. That's really cool. And the fact that you're doing that speaks truth, but also that speaks that you're a great person here, that you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the people who get, basically that you're honest. And I think that is very inspiring, and inspiring is what we need right now, and especially during this whole crazy times. And the fact that you're doing that, and the fact that a lot of people can rely on that, knowing that whatever they see on your material, it's inspiring, and it also sends a good message. That's pretty cool. So basically, I mean, I have to say thank you so much for being here, for having the time to do this. I think that at the end of the day, and one of the things that I do also is that actors are the living proof that dreams come true, because you guys go through so many hard stuff, so many rejections here and there, and regardless, you keep working on that and you keep building on that, and you just keep pushing and pushing, right? Like, there is no success overnight. And I've seen also that whenever in these big movie franchises, we will see this actor that nobody knew, and then a lot of people would say like, oh, this guy came out of nowhere. But it's not true. I mean, all of this hard work that guy did in the past, and that is also one of the things that I discovered in this whole interviews here, that there is a lot of things that they do here. I mean, I became a fan of independent film and short film because they're really cool. And the fact that you're just pushing hard every day, as I said, is very inspiring, and we definitely need to have like more people like you. But just keep being yourself, because it's so awesome. So I want to say thank you for that, and also thank you so much for those who tune in. If you're watching this later on YouTube or listening this later on the podcast, make sure that you're watching that you're following Emmy and all of her social media. Normally, what I would say is to put pause, hydrate, and then follow her. Leave a bunch of likes here and there. Share her content. Share the news that there is this amazing actress here, and keep being that amazing badass person you always are. And what else I can say before I send you off? I need to send you off in an epic way. So.
Love it.
You deserve that and a lot more. But in the meantime, thank you so much. Keep being that badass super person. Also have an amazing rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Dan. Bye.
Bye.